I'd been trying since like 2013, auditioning and getting rejected like 30 seconds into the audition.
Wow. Yeah.
And, you know, at the time it's devastating, but also I was putting all of my hope into these people, like these producers and this show. And, you know, that's how I lived my life for a long time, just putting my hope and trust and everything into people other than me. And then I really let it all go and was like, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to pursue. And then I started pursuing it, and that's regardless of if a producer liked my voice or not.
My boy, just do your best. Give yourself some grace. You'll make mistakes, but don't make regrets. Sometimes you gotta run, but always stand your ground. Speak for yourself and stick to your gun.
Liam St. John, dude, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And making some time. I've been listening to your music a lot, and I'm first of all a fan, as are, I feel like, a growing horde of people are and becoming, because your voice is just so obviously undeniable and exciting. And like when we were listening to the record a second ago, and I was just like, man, I can't wait to hear this show in a big room, because it's like big room music, which you don't always hear. And also, I mean, I'm a fan of like little room music. We have a lot of little room artists, but it's just really exciting to hear a voice so powerful and dynamic. And this is the other preface, is that this is a little story, bear with me. But when I was in my formative years, I was like in 8th grade, and I had this brother that was in the Marines, and he was traveling overseas, and I hardly ever saw him, but he would regularly send these shoe boxes of cassette tapes. It's like the early 80s. And I discovered so many bands through these. And some of them were labeled properly with even maybe the songs like they had on the casings, you know, but some of them were just like blank tapes, right? Yeah. And there was this record on a tape that was unlabeled that, you know, I just put it in the cassette tape, and it just lit me on fire in a way that music really hasn't done or didn't ever do again in a way in that season of my life. And I came to learn many years later by hearing it at a party and being like, who is this? And the person was like, oh, it's the Violent Femmes second record. And but it opens up with just this like it felt dangerous and raw in a way that I never had heard music do. And I feel like your record, despite being like produced, and we talked about like the drum tones being just like so incredible, Fred Eltringham, but it has that feeling of just being like kind of dangerous. Oh, wow. And so props to you for that.
Thank you, man.
It doesn't feel safe entirely.
Yeah.
And it feels in your songwriting, this is kind of my vision. This conversation could go any direction. So that said, my vision for this is like to get to maybe the center of the songwriting and why that record sounds that way to me. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's, you know, maybe that's because of the songs are the way that they are. But one thing I would say is it feels very confessional.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess, I lived a lot of my life, like just kind of pushing things down and being afraid to, like, you know, I kind of grew up in a religious background and was just afraid of guilt and afraid of my feelings. And so I just pushed them all down, and it kind of never felt the freedom to like speak my truth. Afraid of like what other people would think of me for a long time, you know?
Yeah.
But then my life kind of hit rock bottom, and then one day I was like, wow, I finally have nothing left to lose. So I wrote Dipped in Bleach, and it was the first time I'd ever went there lyrically, just like spilling it all out, spilling out how I feel with like no filter, and like kind of like confessing the things that have been weighing on me, you know?
Uh-huh.
And since then, that was like in 2021, it's just been like a journey of writing songs like that, of just like literally on my, wherever I'm living, if it's in LA, like Portland, Nashville, on my wall is just like, be honest. And that's my number one rule when I'm writing, is just to like find the innocence in the lyric and be as vulnerable as possible. And that's been the journey of this album for 4 years, is just mining through all these feelings I've suppressed for so long and processing them and then writing about them.
With the caveat that if this is like, if I ask anything, it's just like, whoa, dude, it's just too much. That's fine. We wouldn't put it on the pod. So, but did you have I'm not surprised to hear you say the bit about the religious upbringing and stuff, because I just feel like it's everywhere in the record. And that's part of what made me think of that old Violent Femmes record, because it felt like a deranged evangelist on that, you know, on that other record. But the elements of that, the tension and the religious upbringing were just so obvious. Did you also have like a troubled childhood, or did you have a nice childhood, or did you was it?
I wasn't really troubled. I think I was just, extremely shy, and my mom worked nights. You know, she was just always working because she was a single mom, taking care of us three, and then obviously father wasn't really in the picture, and I don't know, I kind of just developed this complex of just like internalizing everything. And then, you know, my older sisters were kind of the ones that got into trouble, like just were kids and being kids and getting into trouble. And then I saw them like causing stress in the house. And so I never felt like I could do that. And so I just internalized everything. And then.
So they were partying and you weren't?
Basically, yeah.
But I feel like your background is like party heavy.
I know. I mean, like, that's kind of my breaking point, was just like, fuck. I finally just like had so much pain that I was holding in that I kind of like fell out of my religion and hit rock bottom and turned to those things and started exploring like other means of numbing my pain,
tamping it down. How old were you then?
I mean, that's all happened in the last like 10 years, you know.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sorry, I don't know how old you are.
I'm 34. Yeah.
Okay, so you're young.
Yeah, I grew up like straight edge, man. I was an athlete. Just never even delved into like alcohol until I like just needed something.
Yeah.
You know?
And like, also I feel like at that time, you know, whether you did college athletics or whatever, there becomes a time where you're like not on the team anymore, or, you know, you're not like in the lifestyle of being a competitive athlete. Then you're like, look around. I don't know if this was your story. I'm not trying to pretend, but yeah, there's just like, suddenly your mid 20s or early 20s opens up and you're like, okay, I guess we'll fucking go down to the bar. Yeah. I was just curious about that, because it seems like the journey and the songs and the theme of the material is like a path of redemption. Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah. And kind of like a redemption through music. It's like you're like you're exorcising your demons with these songs. Yeah. That's what it feels like. I mean, from where I sit, I'm like,
yeah, man,
this guy, he's fucking getting it out.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of follows the album is kind of like a concept album that after I'd written all these songs, I was like, I wrote Man of the North. And then it all made sense. I was like, wow, these all make sense. And they follow a path of like following my trauma and like what life as living as a kid without a dad, and then how that translated to like my religious experience, like with a father figure, and then the
like God the Father figure.
Yeah.
You mean? Yeah.
And just the consequences of both of those relationships. I mean, obviously I make my own decisions, but I definitely think there's something missing when you don't grow up without a dad. And so that was like, I was like, kind of nothing left to lose, so I'm gonna fucking let my demons in.
Go nuts. Yeah.
And I did, and it just kind of follows that path until there's a glimmer of hope at the end of the record, basically. It's like all the lessons I've learned.
Was your journey in music, did it begin post rock bottom? Was it part like were the demons happening while like I'm trying to like I'm always interested in a chronological story, so forgive me for getting like granular with the details or something, but you just mentioned earlier that you've been writing these songs. You wrote Dipped in Bleach in 2021. This is a few years ago, so I feel like you're a young man, 34, so you were in 30 when you started writing songs. Is that fair to say? Or
that was just the first time I'd been honest with myself and my songwriting. I've been pursuing my career for 10 plus years, playing live shows, and that was really that was also kind of like an identity thing. Like I finally felt like I'd found my truth, but nobody else in my life wanted it for me. And so I was, pursuing this career and like going to open mics and dive bars and
in Spokane or in where?
Well, I was in Portland back then, and just like loving it and feeling like I found my truth, and then getting having this thing that I love so much, and then having it being hated by people close to me.
But at the same time, being received for the first, like being seen and valued by people who weren't those people that were closest to you. Yeah. That's painful to me. And I would imagine that would just make you go further in towards where you're loved.
Yeah.
And appreciated, and away from where you're not appreciated.
Yeah.
Did you have like an early formative experience that made you feel like you could sing, or that you had some talent, or how did you know? Oh shit, I can sort of do something here.
Well, I grew up singing in the church, and like I said, I was really shy, but I have always loved singing, and mostly did it in my bedroom and sang to Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, and then I joined this youth group when I was 12, and somebody heard that I could sing, and they kind of peer pressured me into auditioning for the worship team. And I'm grateful for it. I mean, it was like the first time I'd ever like tried to step outside of my shell and sing in front of people. And
it takes a shit ton of guts to do that, especially if you've never. It's a rite of passage in a way.
Yeah. But definitely grateful for that. Just how life happened for me, and I was able to start singing.
So we're like, I would imagine your mom and sisters, were they part of the church as well?
There's kind of no. I mean, I just became really close with. Made really great friends when I was a kid, and we all kind of found the youth group together, and I just found acceptance there.
Yeah.
And
but when you say your folks were, your parent or your family was resistant or not encouraging of your talent, was that connected to that aspect of it? Like did they see it as like, oh fuck, it's a church thing?
No, honestly, it wasn't. My mom has always been my biggest fan and supportive, and my dad, his opinion of me really doesn't hold any weight.
Yeah,
but it was like former relationships.
I see. Okay, gotcha. All right. People are trying. Your girlfriend was holding you back, or girlfriends. Who knows? Okay, that's cool. That sheds some clarity. So so you went to Portland and you're kind of trying your thing out. And did you always sing like you do now, or did you kind of find your voice as you went on?
It definitely was a process. I mean, I've always been, a student of the blues and trying to sing and just trying to let out my soul in that way. But it definitely, there was a process of like trying to sing like other people. And then because I thought this is what the industry would want to hear, or if I sang like this, then I could have a career. And then I let go of all that. And I started singing dive bars and open mics for 0 people, or, just like at 2 a.m. And that is where I truly found my voice, not only as like a singer, but lyrically and like as a person. Like I found my truth and like my voice as a man, like my confidence. I finally found it. And that's when I started belting and screaming.
Yeah.
Just letting it all out the way I do,
Yeah. And I just want to ask you about this too, because it's like, what point did the American Idol thing happen in that journey?
It was The Voice.
The Voice, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that was in 2020. And that was a cool journey because I'd been trying since like 2013, auditioning and getting rejected like 30 seconds into the audition.
Wow. Yeah.
And, at the time it's devastating, but also I was putting all of my hope into these people, like these producers and this show. And, that's how I lived my life for a long time, just putting my hope and trust and everything into people other than me. And then I really let it all go and was like, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to pursue. And then I started pursuing it. And that's regardless of if a producer liked my voice or not, like a TV show liked my voice. And then I started like singing and writing in my own voice. And then 7 years later, I auditioned again, and they're like, you auditioned before, why didn't we cast you?
Yeah.
And I was like, in retrospect, I'm glad I wasn't cast and put into something that I wasn't ready for because I hadn't found my voice. But then I auditioned, sang like 3 songs, sent me straight to executive auditions in LA, cast me, and then pandemic hit.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. But eventually got to go there. Like they figured out a way to film it during the pandemic and went down there in July of 2020.
And describe the experience for people that haven't ever been part of it on the backstage. Did it feel forced on the part of the producers? Or were they trying to create great TV? Or was it really kind of what it seemed to be, which was, I always got a feeling watching the show, and not like I've watched countless episodes, but I've watched a few, and I understand why people are into it, because you're just like, it's hard not to root for these kids. It's like all of a sudden, this is your moment, kid. Are you going to do it or not? And I also heard enough out of tune singing to know that, like, I don't think they're pitching anybody, Yeah. But what was it like from your perspective?
Well, it is TV, and they are trying to get views. But with that said, like, everybody's story was their story. It was just, they basically just interview you a ton until the story's right. But I never felt forced or anything. I just got to tell my story, and then I got to sing my song, Sex and Candy.
Yeah. I read about it.
And it was honestly like, turning those chairs was probably one of my like, core memories.
Yeah.
I felt just so like proud, like, you know, you live your life with these huge goals, and it's not every day that you like accomplish one that's really big, you know. And that was a big one for me back then, and so really grateful for it. And it was so fun. I mean, I had so much fun. And I went into it like not, you know, I'd already been rejected by The Voice 7 years in a row. So
Yeah.
I went into it knowing that like my career is still up to me whether or not I win this thing or not. And so I'm just going to soak it all in and have fun and take what I can from it and be on my way. And that's exactly what I've done since. So.
What changed for you after the chair turned around, and like even when the show was over? I'm sure there was a bunch of new opportunities.
Definitely, man. I mean, there's like, because in the public perception, like it's a big deal, and that, you know, I got verified on Instagram. That was fun.
Important. Yeah.
Back in the day when it
Before
was
you could pay for it.
Yeah.
I know. I was back in the day too, but you just can't walk around telling people that.
It like opened up opportunities for like my first like writing sessions with some of my favorite writers and some cool press opportunities, but really nothing changed that much other than like the confidence I had in myself, which was the biggest factor, because, you know, especially in this career, you need everything you can to hold on to, and having that in my back pocket, just knowing that I accomplished something that I've wanted to accomplish, was really important for me, because it was after that like a year and a half of like nothing was working. And
You were in LA then? You stayed in LA or?
yeah, LA, and was broke as hell, but I just always had that glimmer of like hope, because I accomplished that. I can get through this. I went through, you know, 29 years of not getting anything, and then I got this, so I can get to the next point. And then Dipped in Bleach happened a year and a half later, and that changed everything.
It does seem like I'm gonna see if there's a question in here or an observation. I'm not sure yet. But it's like when you're doing involved in pursuing a dream, especially one that involves something as competitive as, you know, any aspect of the entertainment business. The whole time you're in the dream or on the journey, there's this part of you, I'm not saying you, but just the royal view, that's like, maybe I'm deluding myself. Maybe I'm not supposed to. I don't know for sure. I feel like I'm supposed to be here. And you're like looking, the only way you can know that you're on the right path is if there's something from the outside world that says, you know, yes, you. And I know this firsthand of having many moments between victories where I'm kind of in a moment right now, to be honest. But where you are just like, yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm. And so these little moments, like the chair turning around moments, are, God, they're just so that I can understand how that would keep your boat afloating for a while to come, because that's a big moment. And you can endure a bunch of lonely nights, I think, in the meantime between those two, to have that hope. Yeah. So Dipped in Bleach happened, and was it the public reception of that, or just walk me through the story of Dipped in Bleach?
Well, it's a song of, it's a confession.
It's a heavy song.
And it's autobiographical. And no one had ever in my life, you know, I grew up straight edge. Nobody knew I was like doing drugs and stuff. And nobody knew I was depressed.
Nobody at home, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody knew, except for the people I did drugs with.
Yeah.
And I finally just was like, I'm just going to say it. And so I just said the first time I did cocaine was at a wedding. And I was like officiating the wedding. And I thought that was a jarring first line. And I'd wanted to write it for like years. And I finally did. But I posted on TikTok, and just in my LA apartment, you know, with I was living on an air mattress, half inflated, and posted it, and nothing happened for like 10 days. And then I was actually in Nashville. I woke up, I was visiting my girlfriend, and we went to bed and woke up with like 100,000 new followers and like 1 million views on the video. And
like literally overnight after 10 days.
Literally. And the what was so shocking was like the algorithm, it was just found people that like that music. It found like my core audience. That song found like the first core audience of people that like whatever type of music I play. I still don't know.
Yeah.
But it was just super powerful. And then I recorded the song and released it. I recorded it in my kitchen on one of these SM7B and released it. And
did you do overdubs on the studio, the kitchen studio version, or did you just live
one take? And it's kind of how I wanted it to be. I was like, this song is pretty fucking vulnerable. There's no reason for me to like cake up the sonics of it. It's raw. Let's just give it to him exactly as me, no filter, lyrically, sonically. And so that's how I put out. And then I just kept writing songs like that. And that became the Strip Back album. And I recorded them all live, one takes.
And this was just a few years ago, right? And were you I don't, again, with the caveats, and we don't have to put this in or whatever. Are you like sober now? Are you still?
No, I'm not. But
okay.
I just, I don't do drugs anymore.
Yeah.
I drink occasionally.
You think you're like, you don't think you, I feel like I need to keep being like, cause I'm not trying to like make you sober. I'm not trying to make you anything, or I'm not even really trying to understand, or it's just, I think your story is so interesting. And also I have a relationship with substances, and I'm somehow like not ruining my life with it, but I'm, I've had so many artists on here who've, gotten sober. Some are just like very not still. And it's like wherever people are at in that journey, I'm like very empathetic to. And so I just, I guess what I'm asking is like, I think a lot of people that do hard drugs for a season find that they can't even drink, or they'll gonna go crazy again with it. But doesn't seem like right now that's the case.
Yeah, not right now, but I definitely understand that, Yeah, I think I just have a better relationship with myself, and that was the thing I didn't have when I was leaning on those things extracurricularly. I just hated who I was because I couldn't be myself without getting resistance from it, And so,
what do you mean by that? You can be yourself without getting resistance from it.
Okay, so I don't really want to talk about my marriage, but
okay,
that is what I'm talking about. She hated me.
While you were married?
Yeah. Well, just like, when you pursue a career for so long, or I just loved music so much, and it was like everything I'd ever wanted. And when you come home to somebody that hates it, it's really tough. And I was like transitioning out of my religious, like my religion, like I was leaving that, and then people in the religious corner of my life were being like non accepting and being very judgmental. And like I'm like, wait, aren't you guys supposed to be like loving? I'm depressed. And they're like, fuck you.
Straighten up.
Yeah. And obviously I'm not innocent, and I was pursuing something I loved, sometimes often prioritizing it over my relationship, and that's obviously causes resentment. I don't blame her, but she definitely didn't like it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And so you feel like that's part of why you kind of like went a little crazy on the drug side of it. It's just to, I mean, you used the phrase like encountering resistance within yourself.
Yeah.
But the resistance that you're describing now is like your then spouse, your ex's resistance. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just that whole, I mean, obviously I have like these internal battles of like not wanting to rock the boat and upset people.
Yeah.
I'm a people pleaser. It's like I was, you know. I'm trying not to be, but it's still like a crippling anxiety that I have of like confrontation and like being something that is not what other people want. And so that's on me, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, that was like my life partner. It's not like just one person. It was like my whole life. It's at that point. And especially in the religious aspect of it.
You said you'd stay married, that whole thing, like you made a promise before God.
And my whole community was holding us to that,
mm-hmm.
you know? So there's just a lot of pressure on all ends, and some of it was like self-induced. Like I want to be who I am, and I want to pursue this thing I love. I'm good at it, and I feel like myself for the first time, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. And so it's like, but then also like when somebody who's supposed to be your support is like telling you they won't be there for you if you keep doing this thing you love, it's like really hard to hear, you know?
It's a lot of cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, my heart goes out to you. And I also just, you know, we were talking off camera. We both, I was married also. And without, you know, all of the details of your story, except in one important respect, which was that like I was not just, I wouldn't even say like, well, you could say selfishly pursuing a dream, but it's something more complicated than that. You know, it's not just a selfish thing. It's a calling thing, you know? And you, like you said, you felt like you were good at this thing. I felt like I was good at this thing. And I even had some like encouragement from the outside world validating that experience. And yet I was like, you know, it wasn't as negative at home, but I just felt like I needed to go. And at the same time, it's like my childhood sweetheart and all our families, all of that stuff. And I come from a long line of preachers, big at the church in our small town in Idaho. And that decision for me to not just walk away from it sounds like too easy, to like go to the fucking courthouse and sign the paperwork and wait the day, like all of it. It's a very willful thing. I will say now that I've never talked, this is almost 25 years ago. So it's like, it doesn't hurt like it used to, but it hurt for a very long time because of all the disappointment. I didn't date anybody for fucking 8 years. I don't, you know, like, because it also kind of wrecked her life. Or I didn't do it. We are all sovereign people, but to see somebody kind of like unravel and know that that's somebody who you broke a promise to weighs heavily. Sorry, I'm just lost my train of thought. Ugh, it kind of just made me feel crazy for a second. But in hindsight, I used to think when I grew up and I saw, and you know, everybody's been divorced, or like it's not hard to find people whose parents have been divorced or whatever, and it touches so many people. And I was always just like, well, yeah, it is kind of acquitting, isn't it? You did say, and having gone through it, I'm like, it actually was easier in a way to stay married until it absolutely wasn't possible for another second, you know, because it's so hard to get divorced. And I did, you know, so my point is I have like a new respect for people. It's a complicated respect, but, and we didn't have kids involved and stuff like that, but still it's just like, it's really, really fucking hard to get divorced, and people don't really acknowledge that.
It's like a death, man. You gotta grieve it.
When was that? How long ago was that?
5 5
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's still not terribly distant.
Yeah.
Okay, happier times. So you put out Dipped in Bleach, went viral. I think that's the definition of going viral. New opportunities ensued. You cut the record. I'm sorry, the name of the record.
It was Strip Back.
Strip Back. Yeah, like it was. Mm-hmm. And then where was the connection between? We don't have to get like super detailed or anything like that, but you're on Big Loud on the publishing side of it and the management side of it now, which is
Big Loud record side. Publishing with Warner Chappell.
Gotcha. And that's all Nashville folks. Mm-hmm. And so did they kind of respond to you on the? Yeah, they reached out on probably
TikTok.
Yeah, maybe.
Ava Boney, she's my day one. She's my A&R at Big Loud. Mm. DM'd me after. I think it was like I had 2 videos going viral, Dipped in Bleach and I Put a Spell on You. I think she saw I Put a Spell on You first. DM'd me and we just developed a really close friendship for like a year and a half while I was, started going on touring independently and put out another record and then finally started to get some offers from labels. And that's when, I'd been building this relationship with Big Loud and Ava for a year and a half and finally sealed the deal.
Yeah. Congratulations, man. That's great.
Thank you.
So far, so good.
Yeah, they're amazing, man. It's Big Loud Records is all about the song and, and so you got to be all about the artist if you're all about a song. And so they're just so artist centric and, they just encourage creativity and artistry and push it to the max. Like they love their artists. And so I'm just really happy there. And that, allowed me to cut a record and do it the way I wanted to do it. And, now it's out.
Yeah, man. Again, the record is fucking great. It's like, it's a big record. I'm so excited for you. And this will come out in 6 weeks to 8 weeks, but it just came out as of this taping, right? I mean, it's brand new, baby.
Friday, September 5th. Yeah.
Such an exciting moment for you, dude. So you're, I'm going to put a pin in that because on this note, maybe you would care to play a song live in the studio here?
Sure, man.
Yeah. Oh, great. Let's see if we can find you a good guitar. Maybe you could set this one up for us?
Yeah, sure. I'll play. Well, I wrote this whole record about my roots, where I come from, what I come from, and who I come from. And I come from a single mom. And I wrote a song about my mom and for my mom. It's called Stick to Your Guns. And it's kind of like my Simple Man, but an ode to my mom and to my roots.
He never raised a hand, wouldn't lift a finger, sure raised his voice, put her mind through the ringer. She gave him one last good loving, so he'd fall asleep. By the time that he wakes, all the beds will be empty, car will be full, head east on the 90. She'll get off that exit, single mother of 3. She'll get to the motel after driving all day, swallow her tears, just enough to shade. My boy, just do your best, give yourself some grace. You'll make mistakes, but don't make regrets. Sometimes you gotta run, but always stand your ground. Speak for yourself and stick to your guns. another single mom working them doubles to keep on the lights, and the kids far from the struggle. She's buried and dead, living on credit, skipping her dinner so we could have breakfast. But you never know, 'cause every single Christmas underneath the tree is everything on our wish list. Well, I'm all gone now, still holding on to everything I learned from my hard work and my arm. My boy, just do your best, give yourself some grace. You'll make mistakes, but don't make regrets. Sometimes you gotta run, but always stand your ground. Speak for yourself, stick to your gun. Whoa. Sometimes you gotta run, always stand your ground. Speak for yourself, stick to your guns.
Dude, that's fantastic. And my little girl was here, my baby Zuzu, and she's like, I don't know if you could hear it on the track, but she's brought to size. But yeah, man, it's so great. It's cool. It's to hearing your story about the way you recorded Strip Down and these songs, and then just hearing you do this, that way in the room. It's just like, it's very powerful to hear stripped down music when it's that raw and great. So thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
I guess that's how I write all my songs, just on my guitar, and you always imagine them with a band, and it's really fun to play with the band, and sometimes really powerful, often very powerful, but nothing beats just belting it out on a 6-string.
Song in a room. Yeah, man. Forever. I mean, it's my love, my bread and butter.
Yeah.
So speaking of bands, you're taking a band out for the rest of the year, it seems like, largely.
Till Christmas.
Yeah, man. That's so exciting. And it's a trio?
There's 5 of us. Yeah.
I don't even know the word for that.
Yeah.
Quartet?
Yeah.
Quintet. Boom. Okay, we got it. Lenker, good job. And as of this taping, this is Americana Fest week in Nashville, and you're playing out several times.
Yeah.
Solo with the band, or?
Once solo, but our official showcase is with the band.
Where's that one at?
At the Exit Inn.
Oh, that'll be a great room for that.
I've never played there, but I've been to a bunch of shows. I'm stoked, man.
Yeah. As have I. I mean, it's a legendary place.
Yeah.
That's going to be really exciting. And so is it a dumb question to ask? Sometimes I ask this question, I'm just like, you shouldn't have said that, but I'm going to say that. Do you have like a thing that you want, a goal? Are you a goal setting kind of artist in terms of just like things beyond the music? Or is there, do you want, I don't know, what's your 5-year plan, Liam? Any particular festivals or anything that's like a dream? Because I feel like you're having your dream, come true moment right now. It's just your run.
Yeah, man. I mean, live music is my lifeline. It's what keeps me breathing, and I just want to keep playing to as many people as possible. But it's a really specific goal of mine to be to play Madison Square Garden someday. And I won't stop till we get there.
Why is that? Why there?
Well, I mean,
beside the obvious.
Yeah, besides it's just iconic. But this is kind of weird. But my angel number is 34. And it's that because I made it that because when I was a kid, I found out about Walter Payton, and he was the running back for the Bears.
Yeah.
And he like changed my life. I read his autobiography and Never Die Easy. And I was like, wow, I can just work hard and accomplish things if I just fucking put my boots on and sprint to the forest. That's what he did, when he was a kid. And so 34 has just always been my spiritual number, and Madison Square Garden is on 34th Street.
Nice.
And New York is my favorite city on earth. So
that's a tidy explanation, I'll say.
My goal was for it to happen this year because I'm 34. But I've got 4 months.
Yeah.
Until something crazy could happen. Come on, TikTok gods, give me something huge.
Dude, I mean, I feel like you're emblematic of this kind of new, crazy, mystical way that art is being discovered.
Yeah.
And it's really, you can't put it in a bottle. It's just it'll break out of the bottle, or the bottle will be made of plastic and then get lost. And it's like there's a new. It's crazy, but I do think a lot of times about. I don't think a lot of times it's shoved in my face constantly, like everyone's terrible fear about, a zillion things in the world right now, but among them like AI and how it's replacing everything. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. it's going to replace a lot of things and like people, but in terms of like music and artists, I'm just like, look, I don't think you're ever going to replace like a human being in a heart in a room with their own once in existence version of their particular story that can never be duplicated, and how that music that comes out of that person, it's like, I feel like if you're trying to write country row hits, then maybe it's a little scary.
Yeah.
And not to take anything away from that pursuit, but it is a little bit more duplicable and a little less specific. But like that your song Dipped in Bleach, like you said, that first line, it's so specific that I've just felt like you hear that and you're like, that dude lived that. Yeah. That's not a character in that dude's story. But it says also that you came home and you got a divorce. Is that like basically, loosely.
Yeah.
Basically loosely.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just feel like
I agree, man. Like it is scary, but and even if AI gets smart enough to sound like a guy that isn't auto-tuned and write like a guy that's lived a tough life, like humans aren't fucking stupid. Like you can tell if there's blood and bones in it,
Yeah. Well, yeah. And there was just some scandal last month with a band that, and Rick Beato, I don't know if you follow his YouTube channel or do you know who that guy is?
No.
He's a cool guy. He's like the internet's music dad. I feel like, I think he would be not unflattered by my description. He's got a huge channel. It's like 3 or 4 million people, but he has like iconic artist interviews on there. He's probably like in his 60s, but I think he got started like sort of doing music theory lessons for kids, and he's had a long career as a producer. And anyway, he is always kind of staying on the cutting edge of what's going on. But he just did a thing where on live stream with his buddy, they created an AI artist with the prompt with ChatGPT, like generate this picture of this girl, and it just looks like totally a photo that would be on Paste, or just like of just a disaffected kind of mysterious, but still hot, and like all of that stuff is already can be done. And like my point is, like a month ago, there was a scandal, like this band that appeared, all of a sudden they had 1 million followers and they just look so cool. Everything is just right. And it's like indie rock music. And then it's like, oh, surprise, surprise. It's like completely AI generated. And like people aren't interested in just like entertainment or listening to a song because it tickles their eardrums in a certain way. It's just like part of the experience of having a relationship to art is it's knowing something about the people who made it, and having like a relationship, even if it's one like only in your mind, with those people. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, I think that we're going to be okay as long as we're not just fooling ourselves and lying to ourselves. And I think that the greater challenge, and why I love your story so much, I didn't even really know it until you just told me, is the challenge of being as honest with yourself as possible and daring to be that honest, because that's the scary shit. And that's also the glorious shit. Yeah. That's also the shit that pierces people's hearts, and because they're scared too. And so yeah, I'd like that you just saying that, you know, you started, you had this talent, people recognized it, you believed in yourself, you paid some high prices for it, you pursued it in spite of the very person that was sworn to support you, her resistance. And but it really wasn't until you just like almost like gave up and was just like fucking told the goddamn truth and all of its, you know, like your shortcomings. I'm touched by this. I'm sorry I'm rambling, but I'm like in my own throes of this. I'm like writing this novel right now. I have a book thing that I've had since the beginning, and I've kind of pursued two things. I wouldn't advise this at the same time. But I've had made many records and toured for a long time. And at the same time, I've always like been writing short stories and stuff. And I'm like at the end of this novel, and I feel like on a day, like, well, I don't feel like, it is very real. Like on a daily basis, I'm at war with myself, like on a line by line basis, just like trying to tell my version of this truth, and like being ruthlessly honest with myself about like, is this true? Is this like, are you trying to be funny? Are you trying to be something because you think that somebody's like, is this the true thing? And you got to keep coming back to that. And it is painful. It is painful, and not like, I understand why people don't do this shit, because it's just like, you know, there's a kind of a why question involved in that. And I think the answer, just to bring it back to you, is that because you must, and you're like, you had that calling, and you're like, I'm so happy to see you living the fruits of that calling, man, and just honoring it. And
the coolest part, obviously, it's like cathartic for me personally to write the songs and like be honest with myself, but the coolest part is like connecting with millions of people who because I thought I was alone. You know, I thought I was experiencing everything by myself, and that gets really dark. And you know, that's one of the reasons why you lean on substances and stuff. But then I put out this super intimate experience of my own life, and then come to find out there are so many people experiencing that type of life in their own way. And I get a message probably every day of like somebody who was like struggling with addiction, that my songs found them when they needed them most, or like just like the most humbling stories I could ever have imagined. It's like if my career stopped today, I would know that I would be at peace, you know, because I put these songs out and they found the people that needed them, just like I found the songs I needed when I needed them. So
yeah, man, that's a beautiful sentiment, and maybe a good moment to call it on. Liam, thank you so much for your time, dude. I wish you nothing but the best. I'm so excited to watch your journey.
Finish that book, boy.
At peace.
Cheers.
The Morse Code Podcast is produced by Korby, Lenker, and Jared Hammond in East Nashville, Tennessee. Our executive producer is Randa Newman. You can find full videos for this and all previous episodes at morsecodepodcast.com.